My name is Thomas Fusco. I'm an independent researcher. I've been called a visionary theorist, but I'm actually more involved in theoretical cosmology as it relates to certain supernatural and anomalous phenomena. I got started out in this field as a result of a number of personal experiences I had in my late teens and early 20s. And I would call them parapsychological experiences that were quite profound and caused me to call into question the nature of reality that I was taught at school. These type of events didn't fit in those models. And so for me, the compelling question became, how is the universe put together that would allow these kinds of things to occur? Because the current models that we have wouldn't accommodate them. And so that started me on my journey to discover a new way of looking at reality and a new scientific model. And that gave rise to the theory of supergeometrics that's told about, that I explain in my book, Behind a Cosmic Veil. To explain some of the details of that, what we're looking at is that it became clear to me early on that what I call a two-state model of reality is not adequate. This is what we might call materialism. It is the fundamental paradigm of modern physics, that reality is what is physical. And what is physical is reality. They're synonymous, and nothing lays outside of that. But it became apparent to me that that's not adequate. So what I developed was a model, a conceptual theory of everything that accommodated three states of reality. And we therefore have something that is superphysical, or what I call supergeometric, which is the first state. And it has gone by a lot of different names over the centuries, everything from the heavenly realms to the spirit realm. Edgar Cayce called it the Akasha. Physicist David Bohm called it implicate order. David Finkelstein called it coherent superpositions. There's all different kinds of names for it. But I needed something that was not only descriptive, but also was much more specific in what it implied. So we have these three states, which we could call the supergeometric or the superphysical. We have the quantum state, and then we have the relativistic state. And this is that three-state reality. And through this particular model, we're able to solve certain problems that the normal materialistic model of quantum state, relativistic state, and nothing else just simply can't solve. Well, an example of how this different model with these three states can make a difference in how we understand things is that if we first take a look at what physics proposes today, which is this two-state reality. We have the quantum state, which is the microscopic state. We have the relativistic state, which is the macro state, the relativistic model of Einstein. And so these two jockey with each other, and they describe different qualities of reality. And where you have the quantum state, I mean, most of our listeners are going to know that they've heard of the very strange things that go on at the quantum level that seem to have no correlation with the laws and principles that govern the relativistic state or reality at large, so to speak, that we normally deal with. And these two are in opposition of one another. And one of our major problems in physics, we haven't been able to resolve these, to reconcile them. But with this three-state reality, if we have a non-physical or pre-physical state on this one side, what I call the supergeometric realm, we have the other side with the relativistic state, and we can look at that as a state of reality that's fully physicalized, fully materialized. Now, suddenly, we see the center state, the quantum state, as a transitional state between what is not yet physical to the center state, which is something in the process of becoming fully physical, to the relativistic state where everything is fully materialized and physical. Now, when we look at this middle state of the quantum realm, we can begin to understand in a very sensible, tangible, easy to grasp way that we're actually looking at a state of physical reality that's in the process of materializing. And since it's not fully materialized, this is why it acts in the strange ways that it does. And it's very easy to understand those states based on that concept, but without the idea that there is actually something before the quantum state that transitions through that quantum state. It's very difficult to figure out what's going on there. So that's a really good example of how this model helps us understand aspects of reality that we couldn't do so before. When we think about some of the mysterious phenomena that so far have escaped explanation, let's say like ghosts, paranormal phenomena, or UFO phenomena, we really didn't quite have any kind of an understanding of what may be the underlying mechanics. But when we look at a condition, or what I would say a quality of reality, and what I mean by reality is all that there is, and when we look at a three-state reality as being the physical universe plus the pre-physical or the non-physical realm, the combination of which is now reality, then we can begin to get a better understanding on things like paranormal phenomena, which are these events that have no local physical cause and they just seem to emerge in our fully realized space-time. When we understand that reality is still in a state or in a process of continuous materialization, then we can see these phenomena as a process of materialization of what I call or talk about as information. So we have an apparition that seems to, fade into appearance. It's actually in the process of materializing, and then it dematerializes. UFOs, for example, if we stop and look at the actual phenomena themselves, if we're not considering spacemen or Men in Black, and on this side, demonology or your dead Aunt Mary, or those kinds of things with the paranormal phenomena, when we set those perpetrators aside and just look at the actual physical phenomena themselves, we find there's an incredible correlation between the behavior of paranormal happenings and the behavior reported of UFO sightings. And so there's a very clear correlation. Many researchers have believed that there is a relationship between the two, but we never had a model or a roadmap that would actually allow us to get a real grip and handle on what that actual relationship is. And so with supergeometric theory, it actually gives us the ideas, or how I would say it, the glasses, the lenses through which we can look at these and see them in a whole new way. To talk about some idea to live by, something that particularly my work has led me to understand. And in my book, I talk about this in great detail. Of course, we can't take all that time here. But what I would say is to come to a real understanding, a real acceptance that we human beings are much more than intelligent animals, that there is something going on with us that has the spark of the creator in us, if you will. And so we need to see ourselves as carrying this type of quality within ourselves. And then we can treat ourselves and each other in a way that's more appropriate. Yeah, folks can find out more about my work, my book, at my website. I have related articles, a sample chapter of the book, my blog, and of course, where I'll be appearing next on an interview. And of course, a link on where to obtain the book, where to buy the book. All that can be found at www.cosmicveil. It's one word, and the veil is spelled Veil, cosmicveil.com.